a Playlyst original.
Welcome to the Pilot Podcast,
where we review the pilot episodes of TV shows to answer your question, should I watch this?
My name is BJ.
And my name is Mitu.
And this week, we're watching Spider-Noir on Prime Video, Mating Season on Netflix, The Boroughs on Netflix, and Maximum Pleasure Guaranteed on Apple TV.
So stay tuned to the end to find out BJ's favorite take on Spider-Man.
Oh, we have seen so many in the past few years.
And you've seen even more as like a comics nerd.
A comics enthusiast, fan. There's so many other terms you could have used.
Hive.
Sure.
Why don't you tell us what happens in this comic?
Ben Reilly, played by Nicolas Cage, is an aging, down-on-his-luck private investigator who grapples with his past life as the only superhero in a 1930s New York City, where he was the Spider. And when an exceptional case comes his way, Ben must become the Spider once more. So, Mitu, what'd you think of this Spider-Man adjacent story?
I love that this was a noir first. Like, obviously, it's literally in the name as Spider-Noir, but I coincidentally started this year reading The Thin Man, a very famous noir mystery, and then I followed that up with reading The Maltese Falcon for the first time. Ooh. And so this feels right within that, where it's like a fast, slick-talking detective. There's a femme fatale. There's this assistant that he has a repartee with. There's a little bit of sexism, just all the elements that make a noir work. A lot of it. And I really liked Lamorne Morris as Robbie. I loved that little interlude moment with him on his typewriter, like telling us what's happening through the news, through his typewriter to us as the viewer. I thought that was very fun, too.
Yeah, I agree that it's just this really fun vibe. They quickly give us some of the backstory, and then we dive right into meeting Ben and seeing where he's at. And the fact that it's a detective show first, I think makes it a fun take when we're in this era of so many superhero movies and TV shows, that this stands out as like, oh, case of the week with like one larger overarching case. That's something we're familiar with, but now we get to throw in some spider powers.
Also, Legion Lee as Kat Hardy, the femme fatale.
Ooh,
wow. Like the singing, the way she held herself. I was hooked on this performance. She was such a fun femme fatale, and I think will be a really interesting part of this overarching mystery because, of course, one of the reasons that he put down the cape or whatever the spider had is, as with any man in an action film, his wife died under mysterious circumstances. And so we see her in flashbacks. And so I think there's going to be an interesting push-pull of his loyalty to this wife and to wanting to uncover what happened to her with wanting to understand what's going on with Kat Hardy, who is also transfixing.
And it's fun that we find out that his wife, Ruby, is this universe version of Uncle Ben. She's the one that says that famous line, with great power comes great responsibility. And I like that we have Robbie, who's in on his secret identity and is the one nudging him to be like, the city could really use the spider. Hint, hint. What if he came back?
And we have a very fun villain in Silvermane.
Good old mob boss.
Yes. Brendan Gleeson really made for this role. Truly so fun. And I guess my last thought on Spider-Noir is that fun. I was surprised by how funny it is. Like Nick Cage said something to the effect of he wanted this role to be like 70% classic 1930s noir and like 30% Bugs Bunny. And that's how this felt, truly. Like, you nailed it. That formula, perfect.
It's a good balance. Funny, zippy, but also engaging. I like the cases that we're exploring.
Yes, I think to get into the ratings for Spider-Noir on Prime Video and MGM Plus, if you're Mystery Hive, I think you'll enjoy this show. There's not a lot of superpowers in it, but it's still good action and very, very compelling mystery. And if you're superhero nerd hive like BJ, I think that this is a really interesting, deep look into this character. So obviously, I can't speak on your community. I understand my place outside of the space, but I do think it's an interesting, like, deeper look into this character. It's very compelling to me. How do you feel from that space, that place, that perspective?
Well, I can speak for myself.
Yeah. And the community.
That you are also a part of. You've seen a lot of Spider-Man.
Sure. But for you, I understand representation matters. So how do you feel about the representation here in Spider-Noir?
I enjoyed the show, and I think this is a different take than the bit we saw of Spider-Noir in the Spider-Verse movies. So I like that they're kind of doing their own spin on it. Also throw out there, you can watch this in black and white or in color. Me Too and I watched in color, but it's cool that they're leaning heavily into the noir film style with that option. And I think for a Spider-Man story, it's cool to see all the different takes on Spider-Man and that he's more than the friendly neighborhood spider. Like, it can go in so many different ways. And while we didn't see a lot of superpowers, I do feel like that's probably gonna ramp up as each episode goes.
Oh, yeah. They tease it a ton, including people that aren't the spider.
Ooh. We'll see what's coming next. In the meantime, can you tell us what's happening in the forest?
You're talking about mating season on Netflix, and it's a whole lot of hunching happen in that forest. Set with anthropomorphic animals, this raunchy romantic comedy follows a group of friends who go on wild adventures and discover love in their lives of sex and mating. The main crew is a bear named Josh, voiced by Zach Woods, a raccoon named Ray, voiced by Nick Kroll, a fox named Penelope, voiced by Sabrina Jayles, and a deer named Fawn, voiced by June Diane Raphael.
You know, mating season is such an appropriate title for this show.
Yes, I feel so silly saying this, but I genuinely was surprised by the amount of mating. Like, the show opens with it closes with, there's just constant mating, inter-animal, intra-species, interspecies. Like, they just kind of get to it. There's a lot of weird stuff that happens. Obviously, this is from the same people behind Big Mouth, so I should have expected it, and yet it still surprised me, which happened a lot on Big Mouth.
Well, it says a lot. It is raunchy. I think that was an appropriate description. There's also a lot of death to go with all of the sex.
Yes.
More death than you might expect. Maybe not a lot, but...
more funerals than you might expect.
Especially for animals in a forest.
And you might have expected 0.
And they're gonna really beat that.
Yeah. Sorry. Spoiler.
I'll also say it's body humor, which to some people might be a little gross. To others, they might say, haha, peeing, fluids, body parts.
Skunk juice.
But that's funny haha to some people.
You and I have talked about this where, I mean, this is not like a shocking concept. I've definitely seen a show like this. I had the same feeling watching Mating Season where there are gross, weird things that happen, and I genuinely recognize that they're funny. Like, it's just, this is not for me. This is not my style of humor. I don't like to see things come out of or go into other things in this way. But I totally can picture the audience this is for, and that's why it's very popular.
I can see in the script where they're like, this is a joke, this is the punchline, this is the lead, this is the gag humor.
Yes.
I think they designed it really well.
Absolutely.
I don't know if I'd call it a rom-com, but I guess we'll see more of the like dating in future episodes.
Sure. And it's an excellent cast.
Great voice acting.
Like, truly, especially I would say Zach Woods as this like sad bear sleeping through life in a sense.
Oh,
very, very funny.
When we see this friend group who seem very millennial coded, I think that's where the show shines for me about these friendships and what does it mean to try and date and move on from relationships or life events. So I like how they did that, and the voice acting sold that as well.
That's true. Them sitting around the high table at the bar was the most watchable bit for me and most entertaining. And that's what made, to get into my review for Mating Season on Netflix, that's what made this for me like a would watch maybe a step below casually, like would watch while folding laundry, where I recognize it's funny. I like the dialogue of the people sitting around the table, or the animals sitting around the table chatting. But the like gross stuff, I just don't want to be looking at my screen, if that makes sense.
Oh,
I want to
I'm
be a
with
bit
you.
distracted. But if you're gross out humor hive, you will like this. And maybe you'd want to watch it like me if you like a zippy adult animated comedy that's pretty funny, but probably also don't want to watch things go in and out of people in this way. Again, of animals, might be.
Oof. Splashbacks.
Oof.
I would rate this, probably would not watch again. And I don't think it's a bad show.
Yeah.
I know who the show is for. There are some people I would recommend it for as well. And I think you just have to be ready to laugh at some gross out humor, because that's like 50%, 60% of the episode.
Yeah, it's grosser than Big Mouth, I would say. Probably because it's animals.
So this is a give or take. If you can take that, this is a great show. If you can't, maybe give it a pass.
Okay. Well, why don't you take us from the forest to a very fancy community?
You're talking about the Boroughs on Netflix. In a seemingly picturesque retirement community, a group of unlikely heroes must band together to stop an otherworldly threat from stealing the one thing they don't have: time. So, Mitu, what did you think of our lead, Sam Cooper, played by Alfred Molina, as he is now moving into a retirement community on his own?
Well, I had to remind you that he did the Spider-Man movies.
You did.
So that's kind of tough for your community to hear, but we plow forward. I thought that as in on this show, we plow forward. Okay. I'm not part of your community. I would say that Sam specifically embodied the show so beautifully, like the concept of it. I thought they were really smart to zero in on him for this first episode. I imagine will alter between the crew for focuses going forward. Mm-hmm. But I thought he really encapsulated this idea of like someone who is smart and capable, but also has this difficult thing that has happened. So it's made him have some issues functioning. He has these intergenerational issues with his family. He loves them, but he's also mad about being in this community. At one point, I think when he's being oriented, the staff person who welcomes him to the community is like, "Oh, that's so cool that you're an engineer." And he goes, "I was an engineer. Now I'm a prisoner." And it was funny. Like I laughed, but also it like I thought really encapsulated this. And then this moment he has where he is like, okay, I have to get to know my neighbors. Like I have to start participating in life more meaningfully. All of that happens in this first episode with him, and it just made him such a good vehicle for the story.
Yes, I think he is the perfect way to go into this rather mysterious retirement community. And you see him in such a difficult transitional period. We learn that the only reason he's doing this is because while his wife was alive, they had signed a contract. So he's forced into this position. And I think he quickly realizes that even though it's not his ideal home or community, that there are a lot of nice and friendly people in his neighborhood that want to build those connections. And I think it's always interesting to see the grumpy, stubborn loner kind of get broken down by genuinely friendly people.
That's you and me, baby. And I like that the community is so idyllic. So it makes this undercurrent of the mystery and sci-fi and spooky-ooky element that much more like foreboding. This is from the same minds behind Stranger Things. And so it feels similar where it's like idyllic town should be very like cookie cutter and serene, and this very scary thing lurks. And I thought similarly, some members of the community were maybe too friendly, and I became suspicious of them. Like I'm very suspicious of the CEO of the community. We're going to find out something about them.
Yes, it's hard to trust the staff here, but I think the residents all seem to be fairly trustworthy so far.
That's true. To talk about the crew a bit, we have a retired journalist, Judy, played by the excellent Alfre Woodard. We have retired Dr. Wally, played by Dennis O'Hare. We have Judy's husband, Art, played by Clark Peters. We have this very friendly neighbor, Jack, played by Bill Pullman. And then we have the icon, Gina Davis, as Renee, a community leader, art teacher, someone who stands up to the security and other people that aren't delivering in the community.
And has a noisy car.
Yeah.
You know, if this was a gated community, we'd have a noise ordinance and we'd be able to handle that a little more efficiently.
Did y'all hear that? Do you know that BJ is the feds? Like, he really wants a strict HOA.
Not strict, fair.
Mm-hmm.
You're going to think that neighborhood is great because you're going to move in and it's going to be beautiful. I will have you repaint your door.
That's what I'm saying. You're going to make me do stuff.
You'll smile. You're smiling now. Anyway, how do you feel about this group potentially investigating the threat? Because I was a little shocked how creepy and weird things get in the opening and later in the episode. And you don't usually see, we'll just say it plainly, older adults as the ones trying to take on these otherworldly mysteries.
Okay, just like how I read The Maltese Falcon and The Thin Man this year and then happened to also watch Spider-Noir, I have oddly been in this universe of books of older people solving mysteries or doing the killing. Like, I'm currently reading a book called Kills Well with Others, and it's a sequel to a book about a group of 4 older women who are assassins. And so for me, this is great. Like, this happens to sit in this odd genre that I have now found myself in and I'm really enjoying. I also really like it because, not to get into spoilers, this is very light, someone from their community names that a scary thing is in the walls. But basically everyone is like, all right, Grandpa, take this pill, sit over here, and no one is taking him seriously. So I also like it from the perspective of, like, we're seeing a lot of people being infantilized because they're older. And so I like that this group of people will get to uncover that, also from the perspective of validating the thing that their community member is saying. I
think they're going to have a lot of great opportunities to push back on some stereotypes of older adults. You don't just go to this retirement community and live a boring life until death. You can have hobbies, you can have friends, and you don't have to treat them like children.
Yes, exactly.
So what would you rate The Boroughs on Netflix?
I would watch again casually. The only thing keeping me from watching again seriously is it was scary, so I did have to look away for the beginning and other scary parts of this episode, so that does affect the viewing experience. And I could not marathon it. If you are Mystery Hive, especially if you're in the similar genre as I am of, like, older adult Mystery Hive, you will really like this too, I think. And if you can tolerate scary, like, if you're not a fellow baby here, you should watch again seriously. I'm very curious to know what happens. I just can't find out immediately. It will overwhelm me.
Oh, well, I am not in that community with you, but I am interested in this older adult mystery story, and I would watch again seriously. There are some scary moments. To me, nothing too, like, gory or graphic, like more jump scares and creepy things in the dark moving around type of situations. And I want to know, is Sam going to be okay?
I only want good things for Sam.
Same. Okay, how about we go from a retirement community to a divorced mom?
You're talking about Maximum Pleasure Guaranteed on Apple TV. Newly divorced mom Paula, played by Tatiana Maslany, falls down a rabbit hole of blackmail, murder, and youth soccer. Convinced she witnessed a crime while struggling through a custody battle and an identity crisis, Paula begins her own investigation.
What a stressful, mysterious, and exciting story.
I just read a book called Field Guide to Murder about a retired man in a community,
in your genre.
in a retirement community, who witnesses a crime, but he's an incredibly unreliable witness because it was like through the shutters, through his binoculars, wasn't quite sure what he saw. But I love that genre of, like, a rear window mystery where it's like, I'm looking through the window, I'm not sure what I'm seeing, but I know something has happened. And so I like that they made a webcam version of this with Paula seeing a cam boy that she's been flirting with, Trevor, played by Brandon Flynn, getting attacked. And she's not sure if it's fake, like, is he scamming me? Is it real? But no matter what, I have to get to the bottom of this.
Because those phone calls are real.
Yes, it's very, very good stakes where it's like the people that want money for Trevor's attack, whether he's in on it or not, they have found your work. They know what's going on in your life. They know you have a kid. This is dangerous. And I love when someone is like an unlikely investigator where the job that you do makes you oddly good for the moment. I, as you know, have seen so many Hallmark mysteries where it's like a baker solves all the crimes in town, or a hairdresser, or a librarian, and they have like some specific niche thing, crossword puzzle writer, where it's they're brought in and suddenly like they hold the expertise. And Paula, as a fact checker, she's able to search really well. As odd as that sounds, like she knows exactly how to search based on the things that she's seeing in the webcam to find out what's going on and find where some of this is going on.
I think that's a really good point. She's fun as this unlikely investigator. Always happy to see Tatiana again. Although this character, I'm getting like Orphan Black vibes. It's not the same like sci-fi type of story, but it's that dark, gritty character that she's playing that's really fighting an uphill battle in life. And I like that the detectives have a pretty legitimate reason to doubt some of her claims. Like, this could easily be a scam. And even as viewers, we're not fully sure. So we're watching her deal with people threatening her and asking for money, scaring her. But we're also like, is this real? Is it not real? Is Trevor in danger? Is this all a setup? And that adds to the kind of stakes and the stress while watching, but good stress.
Yes, I love, this is going to sound mean, but like shame as a motivator.
Ooh.
She has to be right. She has to be right that something is afoot because she's been paying this guy for webcams. She knows it's a transactional relationship, but she thought there was something there. I also love the idea of like a single woman paying for webcams where it's clear they had like hour-long sessions, and instead of all of it being sexual, it's like 55 minutes of her complaining about her day.
I thought it was her therapist at first.
Yes! I was like, it looked like when I'm on Zoom with my therapist until the end.
Yes, yeah. The first 55 minutes.
Yeah. And so I really liked that. And then I thought it balanced well her two coworkers, played by Charlie Hall and Kiara Hamagani Goldberg. I thought that they were so silly and weird, and that took a lot of the air out when needed, when things were very tense. Because the guy's ruining her life.
We needed that because also she has a lot of drama going on with her ex-husband, Carl, played by Jake Johnson, regarding her daughter. And all of that was just like heavy and sad. So the coworkers brought some much needed levity to just all she's fighting against.
And it was very interesting and believable, which surprised me to see Jake Johnson as the straight man being like, get it together. Because I'm so accustomed in maybe everything I've seen him in where he is the one who has to get his life back on track.
Yes, this is a very interesting flip from like his New Girl character.
Yeah, or that pornography show we saw of him, and then that movie Let's Be Cops. I've only seen him in positions where it's like, stop, make a better decision right now. The Minx, that's what it was called.
And now he said, I did. Boom.
Now I'm the responsible one, but my ex-wife, uh-oh.
But I don't fully trust Carl. Moving your kid all the way to Boise, Idaho.
What's over there?
Is that good parenting?
I don't think so.
She just wants to see the stars.
Yeah.
Any other thoughts on Maximum Pleasure Guaranteed?
Now that we've come out against Boise.
Sorry,
now
Boise.
Now that we've taken this brave stand.
We're sure you're a fine city.
For Maximum Pleasure Guaranteed, I will watch again seriously. I like that they didn't put all episodes out. It will help me slow down because there is some violence. Like, we see the guy get beat up, and I think, like, if there's too much blood, that would overwhelm me personally. But if you have a solid tolerance for thrillers, slightly violent thrillers, I think that you would want to watch this again seriously, too. Because it's juicy. I want to know what happens. And she's so fun to watch investigate.
I agree. I want to watch again. Seriously, I like the way she is investigating it. It's the right amount of stress and kind of poor decision making. Not too much of that, which I think would bring it down. And so we'll see where she ends up.
We will. All right. What's your favorite iteration of Spider-Man?
You know, I think my favorite iteration is either Miles Morales in the Spider-Verse movies.
Oh, love those.
Or Andrew Garfield Spider-Man movies.
Haven't seen those yet.
The Amazing Spider-Man, I think.
Okay, that's a ringing endorsement. I'll have to watch them.
I liked his movies. I'm sad he didn't get a third. I know it was planned, but it got canceled for some reason.
Okay, I am just now have caught up with the Tobey Maguire movies, like in the last year. I've been on time with Spider-Verse. I cried in that first one, like really cried. I thought it was so beautiful. So I'll try the Andrew Garfield ones next.
Okay. Do you have a favorite spider person?
Probably the Spider-Verse movie. I thought that was so beautiful.
But like a favorite character with spider powers.
Oh, I thought that pig was so funny.
Oh, Spider Pig was really fun.
So maybe somewhere between Miles Morales because of the heart and the fact that his character made me sob, and then the silliness of Spider Pig, like the ridiculousness of that, because that really surprised me.
No, Spider Ham. That's his name.
Spider Ham, that's what it is.
Good choices. So you are part of the hive. Huh. Interesting. Not many people know about Spider Ham, but he's one of your favorites.
The fulfillion people who watch the Spider-Verse movie?
That's not the 8 billion people who live here, so you're still in the minority.
Sure. Whatever you need to say. Where can people find more episodes of the Pilot Podcast?
On our website at thepilotpodcast.com, and you can follow us on all of your favorite podcast platforms.
You can also follow us on social media at The Pilot Pod, and you can send thoughts, feelings, show recommendations, because every other week we do a show recommended by you, our wonderful listeners, to askthepilotpodcast@gmail.com. Thanks for listening.
Bye.